It's Monday morning and everyone knows what it means. Now, the daily races are actually insane. And what I mean by insane is look at daily race C. We got GR1 on Monza. But first we have to do daily race A. So daily race A is the humble GR4 on the Swiss circuit. I don't even know what's named. Trial Mountain? I don't know. And all you have to worry about is keeping it clean. And you know, the moment I saw daily race C, I was genuinely about to lose it. Nothing really beats GR1 cars, and it's been a category I've been waiting on for quite a long time. Last time I'd done a GR1 race in Gran Turismo was probably like a year ago or something, and I've really been waiting on it. Now we're in the humble Lamborghini Huracan, you know, the GT4 version, which I was right, it is the new meta car, and I'm not gonna spoil too much for daily race V, but expect a Lamborghini too. My video covering it was right. I was right. It's a new meta car indeed. As the driver makes a mistake, which leads to me giving him a little bump. You know, nothing too dirty. I just gave him a bump. He probably thanked me for it because I kind of saved him from overtaking him. And yeah, I'm not gonna be too pissed about it because you know I'm basically on his bumper now, and I can basically send the move wherever I see fitting. And I'm not gonna send the move down here because it's crazy risky, and I'm just gonna keep the position and wait for the long straight that's coming, which, yeah, I will basically slipstream him all the way down into the final corner, which it's basically my favorite overtake spot. And I've done a video on this race where we were in, I think, the Ford GT, and I went all the way from like last or something to P2, which was crazy. Over 11 positions made in a single race. So maybe you could also go and watch it. I mean, it's not a bad race, it's quite good. So as we're approaching the final corner, you can see him going semi-defensive, and then he's looking to go cover it, and he didn't really cover it too much, which led to me to basically going for the dive. And thank you for the position, I basically pissed out. And honestly, like, I'm quite a fast driver, and I'm way more consistent than he is, which basically from here on I went to be the prestigious, the legendary Artyom Senna. The only difference is I don't like 15-year-old girls. Now that I'm cancelled, yeah, I basically went on to win the race with not too much of a dominant gap since I was in a penalty, but they were not fast enough to catch to me, and the pace was pretty much the same. If you subtract that penalty, it was about 2.5 seconds, which is not too much of a dominant win. Overall, you know, it's a nice race, not really bad. I'm not really a fan of the GR4 Lamborghini, but it is what it is, you know. Unfortunately, for some reason, Lamborghini seem to be the meta car. Now, going into daily race B, none other than the Kappa Lamborghini has been brought out from retirement. Yes, a car I genuinely prayed not to use again because I just don't like how it drives. It genuinely drives like a pig. Now, as the lights go on, I'm just gonna tuck behind and, you know, pray for nothing bad to happen. But my prayers were not answered, and basically into turn 1, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna forget what brakes are, and I'm basically gonna slam into the behind of the Porsche after being forced to move under braking, which, to be fair, you could brake a little later there, but what happened, and now not only the damage you have to worry about, there is also a 2-second penalty that I will have to serve at the end of this lap, which is very unfortunate, especially given that the affected car, the Porsche, is now in first. And not only is it gonna be a 2-second penalty, my sportsman rating has tanked after this. It was S, now it's B. So, you know, all in all, it's not a good race. It's been horrible all the way from the start. So I'm just gonna try to keep it nice and tight, not fight too much, and not tank my sportsman even more. Because, yeah, it does affect the people you are with, and you don't really want to race with people who are basically French, you know. If there is no space, you make the space. That's what French people do. I'm not even lying. So I immediately try to cover the car from behind from overtaking me. So I go for a semi-defensive, going for a weird line. But, you know, it does work from covering him until I made this mistake. And this is why I particularly hate the Lamborghini. The rear end is quite toxic for some reason compared to all other cars. This is the car with the most toxic rear end I've ever driven. It just doesn't want to stay on the track. It just likes to slip and slide and drift. It should be a drift car. It shouldn't be classified as, I don't know, GR3. It should be GR Drift or something. I don't know. So yeah, the yellow reminder is about to remind me that I have a 2-year-long penalty in federal prison. And yeah, I'm about to serve it and basically cry myself to sleep after this race. So the Porsche behind me is probably the happiest man alive. It's just, yep, he gets a free overtake, and the German behind him gets a free overtake, and basically the driver behind also gets a free overtake, and this one too. So I'm pretty upset. I'm not even happy. Again, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep after this race. But you know, it's not over, because all I have to do is finish like, I don't know, P8, P7, and my driver's rating won't drop down. In fact, it will go up, which is very likely. Up until this happened, which he went for a kamikaze attack on the German driver, which I do have damage, but I'm not gonna complain since I'm not on the damaged end by it. I mean, I did get a free overtake for that kamikaze, so I'm not even gonna complain. So that was a piece of hope I could rely on, because I needed some hope. all I have to do is defend P6, and I'm basically in the Super GT natural position, you know, the favorite position Super GT would ever want to get. As me and the Porsche are banging wheels into this corner, you know, I'm on the inside, so I cannot really do much in terms of attacking. And yeah, I basically defended it because, again, not much he could do from his position, given that I've learned how to not get the switcheroo done on me. Okay, that's not proper English. I'm gonna whip out the dictionary later. As the Porsche driver sends a daring move on the outside, I try to, you know, delay my braking by lifting off the brakes, but he's stabilized himself in front of me by going for probably one of the best moves anyone has done against me. And to be fair, I know the Lamborghini is the better car, but I should have chosen Porsche. You know, it's just the better car in terms of handling characteristics. As I go for an absolute, I go for an absolute assault on him by mistake. I mean, he braked way too early, and given that he's in the car that's more controllable generally on this track, he shouldn't have braked that early. But yeah, he's still side by side with me, and yeah, he does push me out, and we're kind of equal now. So I'm looking to reclaim the Super GT natural position by any means possible. So I'm basically gonna slipstream him all the way down the straight and look for an overtake, but he seems to be a little smart since, I mean, he's French, and he will not hesitate to pretty much put a baguette in my behind and plug the exhaust of my car with bread. So I was delighted to know that he's not gonna even defend that move, and I basically dived down the inside, and yeah, I was very surprised that he did not even try defending, which is very it's very weird for a French person to do. I was totally expecting 5 baguettes to be impaled into my head or something, but this one was nice. To be fair, I don't dislike French people as much as I used to anymore, since he decided to basically give me a free position. And if you're French yourself and you ask why I don't like you guys, I do have a video which you could watch, which I was racing a French person and he did what any French person would do. He was the most French out of the French. Napoleon himself came onto me. And I'm probably gonna have a card linked to that video somewhere here, so keep an eye for it. So yeah, the baguette is still within attacking distance of me, but he was not fast enough to send an overtake. I've transitioned to the German driver, which is right here in P5, which he tried being weird with the slipstream and tried to get me out of it, but I was persistent. And yeah, he's made a mistake on the braking, which led to me to basically overtaking him. Now I'm in P5, which is, if you know math, better than P6, but I think you know that. So yeah, I'm gonna be looking to defend my position with any means possible now, because yeah, it's basically the final lap. As I make a slight mistake going slightly too wide on the curb, I was expecting a penalty, but to my delight there was no penalty, so I was happy. All I have to worry about is the German being German and doing German things. Which, yeah, I did make a mistake and the German was very close to me, so I was very terrified. Because if I'm correct, my Polish friend was racing a German and suddenly Poland wasn't Poland anymore. So I promise you, Germans are scary. So yeah, I'm basically keeping my head on a 360 swivel and just making sure he doesn't try any sort of weird stuff. So you can see him going on the inside, pushing me a little wide. So I give him a little, you know, push, indicating that I'm here, mate, don't try to push me off the track. But he does have the inside into next corner, so he does give me that push, and I'm basically forced to submit to him, because the last time anybody tried to argue with a German, it did not end very well. So you know what, I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna keep P6, I'm not even gonna try anymore. You can keep P5, I'm not gonna argue with the German people, you don't argue with them. The French people, you know, you can argue, they're not as dangerous, but Germans, don't mess with Germans. It's number one law for me. I mean, every German basically has a racing license, since the Autobahn has no speed limit and you can basically race an Opel Corsa as an 18-year-old kid with barely a license. So yeah, it's safe to say they know how to handle high-speed situations, which, again, I'm not even gonna argue with the German. As you can see, he dropped an emote just before the end. Not arguing, I have P6, it's more than enough. Right, so the moment everyone's been waiting for, the race I haven't done since GT Sport. I've been waiting for as long as I remember to get into a GR1 car, and we finally have it, Daily Race C. Now, if I'm correct, the last time I did a GR1 race on Monza was in Gran Turismo Sport in 2021. So, to say I was excited is an understatement. I was genuinely, I was flying when I saw this race. I was ready to bang wheels with every single car possible. I just wanted to drive this race as much as I could. And here's the thing, I made a mistake. And then I got to witness Turn 1 Monza be Turn 1 Monza. And for once, I'm actually thanking Gran Turismo for introducing Ghost into the game, because if it doesn't exist, we'd have way more fatalities than here. Now, we pretty much watched World War I and II go together into one fucking corner. And yeah, I'm glad my qualifying time is on this track is good, so I don't have to worry about starting P6 or something. As I start looking on the move on the inside, I see a little bit of a gap, and I did one of the worst moves I've ever done in my career, and I pushed both cars off the track as Osama bin Russell himself appears from the heavens to say that was a great move. Others would say that was a horrible move, but clearly George Russell disagrees. He thinks it's a brilliant move. He thinks every driver is entitled to do such a move with no penalties or punishments whatsoever. And to be fair, I'm not British, but I can put on an accent. So I'm gonna carry my ass to Nando's and order a bottle of woo and some fish and chips to eat as I enjoy my penalty-free British lifestyle. So yeah, I think the sarcasm is amazing, but it was a horrible move, to be fair. As I go through Ascari, the car feels quite sluggish as, unlike qualifying, it's full of fuel. And I've never driven this car with the full tank of fuel, so I'm gonna have to worry about 2 cars behind. One of them is greatly in my slipstream, and I'm gonna have to look into some weird move into Parabolica, which they could not really easily overtake me, as I pretty much take one of the best lines you can take there while not having to worry about him diving on the inside. And I'm not sure, but I think he saw the massacre that I did to the 2 other drivers, so he decided to be a little more hesitant approaching an Arab driver. But yeah, also he's in the, I think in the Porsche 918 or something, no, the Porsche 918, and yeah, it does not have the straight line speed compared to the Toyota, I mean the Ferrari. Yeah, I'm in the imposter car. As I use my technical skill of over-revving the fuck out of the engine to get a little bit more engine brake out of the car, which is a technique used by pretty much all Gran Turismo World Series drivers. So don't even try to bring it to the comments. Don't go to the comments, if you over-rev the engine will blow up. Well, fortunately, there is no engine damage physics in this game. So yeah, I pull into the pits on lap 4 to go for a early pit stop, or I forgot what the term is called. I think it's called an early pit stop. What is it called? Right, I open my dictionary. It's an undercut. Yeah, I open my F1 dictionary. I'm going for the undercut. So I'm powering on my strategy mastermind, which is clearly unpresent at Ferrari, up until Monza 2024. And to be fair, as the car is a little lighter, the tires will pretty much last all the way to the end of the race. So I don't really have to worry about that too much. But what I have to worry about is the unpredictable. And by the unpredictable, I mean me making mistakes. And you know, after skipping a couple of laps, I go into turn 1, being very, very aggressive and precise on my throttle inputs, you know, basically pushing all the way, edging the limit of the tracks all the way to the green thing there. I don't know what it's called, AstroTurf. Yeah, I'm not even using the curb anymore. I'm past the curb on the AstroTurf, which is ideally where you want to be. Race car Aikido, you understand what I'm saying? Now, going into this corner, my racing Aikido ran out and I make an embarrassing mistake of, yeah, I did a good line, but I got a little too excited on the power, and yeah, I went on the gravel, which, you know, loses me a couple of tenths of a second, but yeah, it's not too big of a deal. And I'm gonna skip until the end of lap 8 out of 11, which starts lap 9 out of 11. Funnily enough, that's when I set my lap record, and it was not beaten, if I'm correct, which, to be fair, my memory is not even good, so I'm not even gonna, yeah, don't quote me on that. But if you look, there is 2 seconds to P1, so all I have to do is basically remove Ferrari out of my DNA and be consistent. But Ferrari is in my DNA, and I do go off the track on the gravel, losing me a bit of precious time. And yeah, I'm an imposter Ferrari. I'm not really a real Ferrari since it doesn't really exist in the game. I have the Ferrari skin on the Toyota GR010, which I think the Toyota employees probably despise me for it, which yeah, I cannot take the Ferrari out of my DNA now. And if you thought that wasn't embarrassing enough, I made another mistake where I pretty much smashed into the inside of the wall. I've never seen anyone do that mistake before. And yeah, I also went on the gravel. Apparently my Arab genes are mixing with the Ferrari, and I want to go off-road. I mean, I'm Arab. All of us Arabs just love going off-road. So yeah, while the gravel is attracting me, I'm fighting the masculine urge to basically turn this car into a Nissan Vitic Super Safari or something. Yeah, as I make another embarrassing mistake and smash straight into the barrier, I have become one with the Ferrari. And yeah, there is basically zero hope of me catching P1. I've been making embarrassing mistake after embarrassing mistake after another embarrassing mistake. So I have myself a 1 second penalty also, as I make a small mistake there. Nothing too deep, you know. But yeah, I have a 1 second penalty to worry about, which is not welcome at best. But yeah, I'm looking to wrap up this race as we go into the long straight leading into Ascari. You want to brake, you know, just before or after the 100 marker on that, you know, bit of gravel road, whatever you want to call it. And you usually want to be more aggressive with it on the entrance, but I wasn't as aggressive since, yeah, I just wanted to take it. I just wanted to get it home and not lose time to the Austrian, because I'm far ahead, but one spin could ruin my entire day. And I mean, there's only one corner separating me from the finish line, so it's not even worth it to push. He's not that far. So I did my best Ferrari impression, and yeah, I basically went off the track, dipped my toes into the gravel, spun, did a 360, and yeah, I'm basically a Ferrari driver now. I mean, Scuderia Ferrari is banging on my phone. They want me to pick up, but I'm a Red Bull fan, so I'm just waiting for Christian Horner's call. So yeah, I do have the bragging rights of declining Mattia Binotto's offer. But yeah, sarcasm aside, I did finish second, 20 seconds behind, which is horrible in terms. Yeah, it's horrible. And you can see my sportsman also my sportsmanship rating also tanked.